Hello friends, welcome back to the Purl-suit knitting show. My name is Sarah and today we are talking about the goddess of yarn. And not just talking about me, but really, we are talking about an actual goddess of wool, goddess of spinning, goddess of yarn. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, go ahead and grab a project you're working on, crack open something nice to drink. And let's go. Now that we are all settled in, we're going to be talking about an ancient goddess that goes by a lot of different names across the world in a lot of different ancient pre-Christianity cultures. But specifically, the one that I'm going to talk about is the Ukrainian or Slavic goddess named Mokosh. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and all of my information has come from the internet so far, so please feel free to correct me if I am wrong. But I just wanted to give a little bit of background before I go into the main part of this video. I have been doing a lot of cultural research work on myself. My grandma was super into genealogies, and she used Ancestry.com, not sponsored, but I wish I was. And she found a lot of hints, a lot of things about our ancestry. And it turns out that we are not just one, cultural group like I had thought. I, growing up, was told, oh, you're Dutch and you're a little bit German, maybe a little Scotch, Irish, English, but that's pretty much it. And after doing a lot of research, I learned, yes, I am half Dutch, 100%, can't deny that. But I'm also a good part German, a good part Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, a little bit of Swedish in there, kind of weird, but there you go. English, Welsh, a little bit of Irish, and there's one ancestor like way back in the 14 or 1500s who was Puerto Rican. So that's really fun and really interesting stuff that I did not know about myself. So all that to say, sorry, bunny trail. All that to say, I've been doing a lot of research on who I am, where my ancestors came from, and how I can connect with them better. And in doing a little bit of research about folk beliefs, folk magic in the Slavic region of the world, with my Ukrainian and Polish and Russian ancestors, I learned that pre-Christianity, one of their main goddesses that they worshipped was named Mokosh. And Mokosh was the goddess of spinning, of weaving, of protecting sheep, women's work, fertility, all of these really, really cool things. And she is almost always depicted with a drop spindle. So I'm going to show you what that looks like and how I drop spin. I'm really excited because I just ordered my first electric spinning wheel because I've been saving up for it for forever and got some birthday money, so I decided to go for it and buy it. But it has not come in the mail yet, but I will do a video on that once it does come. So I'm going to talk about Mokosh, and I'm going to be spinning some gorgeous hot pink yarn while I do it. So stay tuned. Let's go. The fiber arts are having a major moment on the internet right now, so it is really easy to think that there's something new in human history. But unfortunately, that is wrong. Fiber arts are culturally significant throughout human history and are tied to a lot of spiritual beliefs as well as cultural identity. So I had no idea, like I mentioned before, about my ancestry, and I was so excited to learn about my ancestors. And this just all comes around to the goddess of yarn, Mokosh, and she went by a lot of different names across the world. I believe Freya was one of them, which Friday is named after, and Friday is Freya's day, but also Mokosh's day. But the origins of Mokosh as Mother Earth may date into pre-Indo-European times, like the 5th or 6th millennia before Christ, when worldwide woman-centered religions are thought to have existed. In Slavic mythology, Mokosh, sometimes translated, I'm going to put it up on the screen here because I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it means Friday, and she is moist Mother Earth and said to have been the most important goddess in their religion. So it is said that she was the creator, and she was discovered sleeping in a cave by a flowering spring by the spring god Jarilo, I don't know how to pronounce that either, with whom she created the fruits of the earth. She is the protector of spinning, tending sheep and wool, patron of merchants and fishermen, who protects cattle from plague and people from drought, disease, drowning, and unclean spirits. So Friday, like I said, is associated with Mokosh, and Fridays before important holidays are really important, or were really important to this group of people. And her feast day is October 28th, and no one may spin, weave, or mend on that day. Yes, I will be taking part in celebrating Mokosh this year on October 28th, and I'm really excited about it. So late winter or early spring is the time of Imbolc in traditional religions, and this is one of Mokosh's sacred seasons. Whether you call her Brigid, which I believe is a Welsh or an English translation of her or depiction of her, or Mokosh, or by any other name, now is an opportune time to ask her help and invoke her presence. By lighting a sacred flame, tying a cloth to a tree in a fertile place, honoring the waters of the earth which give life to all, spinning and weaving threads of creation and creativity, literally or metaphorically, we too can connect once again with the source of all and open ourselves to receive her blessings. These quotes were taken from a few websites, which I'll have linked down below if you're curious about learning more about Goddess Mokosh. And one of the things that I found super interesting when I was learning about my ancestors is that all of my different cultural groups had some sort of fiber art at the core, at the center of the culture. And it was very religiously significant and culturally significant, and just artistically significant too. So like I said, I'm half Dutch. I had no idea knitting was such an important part of Dutch culture. No clue. My mom taught me how to crochet, my Dutch mom, and her grandmother, who's my great-grandmother, taught her how to crochet. Apparently, I just learned from my grandma that she used to knit, and I know she used to do needlework like with the cross stitching. And she said at one point she just kind of gave up on it all and didn't do it anymore, because I knitted her some socks for Christmas and sent them to her. But I had no idea about all of that. So I'm really excited to learn more about my heritage and about my culture and how this huge part of myself really relates to it all. I feel like almost my ancestors were leading me towards learning more about this, because previously, I'd only really crocheted with acrylic and cotton yarn and just kind of done, the cutesy little bralette tops and sweaters and those kinds of things, which is fun and which is great. But leaning into spinning wool into yarn, leaning into knitting, leaning into, I'm going to start sewing. I got my old sewing machine back from my parents recently. So all of those things I think are helping me reconnect in a way that I couldn't have without it. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, if you're curious what I'm knitting, I'm working on a sock with some yarn that I spun a few days ago. I did the drop spindle the whole way through, and I did not think I was going to have enough for a sock, but here we are. I am almost done with the foot part of the sock. With all of that fun stuff out of the way, I'm gonna transition into finished projects and some WIPs, some works in progress. So my first finished project, I guess, would be this sweater. It is the non-binary pride flag sweater. I made it in, I think it was a little over one night. because there was a protest in my state for anti-transgender health care laws being passed, which I'm sure you've seen it in the news. It's happening all over the country. So we wanted to go to a demonstration, a protest for it, and I wanted to make my sweater just repping my identity. So I did a huge hook, and I did a bunch of that just store brand acrylic yarn from Joann's, and it worked up super fast. And then I knitted the cuffs instead of doing the crochet back and forth trying to replicate ribbing. I just did ribbing, and it was way faster. Used way less yarn. So this is my first finished project. And then I started and finished these in the span of time between my last video and now. And I've worn them a few times. I feel like that's my go-to, is just wearing them and then showing them off. But they are hot pink and bright green socks. I am obsessed with these colors. They're so pretty. And it's really fun. So the yarn I used, the pink one was the Planned Parenthood yarn that was sold during the 40 Days for Life by Dye Mad Yarns. And then the green one, I think it's called Gigawatts, and it's from Sugar Plum Circus. It's a sport weight, like kind of nylon wool blend, and it's electrifying. I love these socks with everything that I am. To be quite honest with you, I have started more projects than I've finished lately. I've just been getting ideas, and then I start something and then don't finish it right away. So I have a lot of works in progress, so I'm not going to show all of them, but I'll show some of them. You saw this one. This one is the wool rolag in, I believe it's Aurora Borealis by the Woolly Witch. I'll have everything linked down below, but I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a lightly sparkly purple, like lavender purple, mint green, blue. It has a little bit of pink in it. And this is the yarn that I spun. So it came out to be about a DK weight yarn. So I'm using, what size are these? I don't know. It doesn't say on them. I think they're 3.75 millimeter needles. They're just bamboo. And it's worked up super fast. I started it last night, and I got the cuff, the leg, the heel flap, heel turn, gusset, and I'm like halfway through the foot. So I'm pretty sure I can finish it today if I put my mind to it. But it's really soft and it's really pretty. So I'm probably gonna have to order some more of the wool because I don't have enough for 2 socks, but this has been a really fun project. This is my next work in progress. It's another sock. All of these are socks. And this is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's from Dye Mad Yarns. It was in my subscription that I get from them every month. So I'll have to look that up and link it below. But it's a sock that I'm working on that I taught myself how to do the English style knitting, because I'm a continental knitter for the most part, but I really wanted to learn English style so I could do color work and hold like one strand of yarn in each hand and just kind of work simultaneously. So I'm not fully done with this one yet, but I'll show ya. The stitches are way more even, I'm noticing, and way tighter. So I don't know what that's about, if it's just the tension, but it's really pretty, and this is the yarn I'm using. Yay! Speaking of color work, this is my last work in progress that I'm gonna share, and I am terrified to weave in all the ends for this, but I'm really excited at how they're turning out. So this is using a lot of different colors. And we've got some tulips, we've got some chickens, a mushroom, some stars, and this yarn, if you can see it, it was a 2-in-1 that came in my yarn subscription from Dye Mad Yarns, and then the other ones are repeats of ones you've already seen, and then this is just some black sock yarn. So my story behind this is, once upon a time, 2 chickens fell in love over mushrooms in a tulip field under the stars. And then the second sock is gonna have the continuation of my chicken's love story. So you're gonna wanna stay tuned for that because it's riveting. But the fun part about these is they are UV reactive and kind of glow in the dark. So when I shine a UV light on it, it like glows and it's so pretty. So the reason I'm terrified about finishing it, and I might never finish it, is the ends are out of control, because this is my first color work project in knitting ever, and they are coming out the wazoo. So who knows if I'll ever weave in the ends. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and learning about our yarn goddess Mokosh. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, go ahead and do that now. I post these vlogs or these podcasts once a month, and it's really fun and it's really new. So check out my last one where I talk a little bit more about why I'm doing this YouTube journey. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's at La Travail Designs. It'll be linked down in the description box. So I have a lot of posts about that, just updating about my different projects and things. And we can get connected and start continuing on this beautiful little fiber arts family. Thank you again for your time, and we'll see you next time.